With over 350 million users, billions in transactions every year, and a cornerstone of payments around the world, PayPal is one of the most well-established players in the financial tech industry. But before they were the behemoth that they are today, PayPal's founding story is an interesting one that involves a man who's at the forefront of our journey to Mars. This is the story of Elon Musk and his journey in PayPal, from creating it to being kicked out of it. At the end of the 20th century, Musk had just closed a deal to sell web software company Zip2 to Compaq for $307 million, pocketing nearly $22 million. The same year, he went on to co-found an online bank called X.com. According to Julie Anderson, the early VP of PayPal, Elon, herself, and the other co-founders of X.com spent many nights discussing the branding, and one evening at a back table at a bar, they were debating between naming it Q, X, or Z.com. When the waitress brought the next round of drinks, Elon asked her what she thought, and she said she liked X.com. Elon pounded the table and said, "That's it then," and everyone laughed, but in the end, that was pretty much how it was decided. X.com initially intended to be a full-service online financial services firm. They went live just before Thanksgiving and partnered with Barclays, one of the top financial institutions. They gave people $20 just for signing up and another $10 for referring people. X.com offered complete banking experience online and let people transfer money to each other. However, around the same time, a Silicon Valley-based payments and cryptography startup, Confinity, which was a mix of confidence and infinity, was making the rounds. Headed by a man now considered one of the best entrepreneurs of all time, Peter Thiel. Confinity launched its milestone product, PayPal, in late 1999. Confinity initially intended to create a way to send money between Palm Pilots. The Palm Pilot was a personal digital assistant, or PDA. Before the advent of mobile phones, PDAs were the most popular handheld computers that could connect to the internet. Despite offering a much lesser set of services compared to X.com, there was always competition between the companies, since they both used many of the same marketing techniques like incentives and targeted a similar audience. However, one thing kept Confinity in the game: their part into a popular website called eBay. Around this time, eBay was around for 5 years and had seen rapid growth. They were one of the poster boys for the growth of the internet around this time, and were seen as an example of the kind of change the internet would bring around. Back then, despite growing to around 7 million users, most people on eBay didn't sell enough to qualify for a merchant account, which meant they couldn't take money through credit cards or net banking. This meant the small individual sellers on eBay had to handle payments by themselves, either through money orders or mailing a check to the seller. This meant an increased wait time, and you don't have any guarantee about the money. When Confinity realized the potential they had in this field, they pushed all of their marketing efforts to targeting sellers and buyers on eBay to use PayPal for their transactions. They had an innovative marketing technique. They asked sellers to add the PayPal logo to their eBay page, and this would also work as a referral system. But X.com wasn't far behind on noticing the market here. They too soon started to push for their logo to be used by sellers on the auction site. But things got heated when eBay purchased a credit card transaction company called BillPoint to integrate payments directly into their site. When eBay bought BillPoint, nearly all of the auctions on eBay were conducted with paper checks or money orders. The acquisition was meant to help eBay speed the closure of auctions by allowing buyers to use credit cards to pay for their purchases. After all, it was their platform, and they too wanted to benefit from the race to make payments simpler. To help speed adoption of its service, eBay brought in Wells Fargo as an equity investor in BillPoint in March 2000 and teamed up with credit card giant Visa to promote the service later that month. The company also repeatedly promoted BillPoint to its customers. eBay offered to credit listing fees to customers who sold items using BillPoint. However, by this point, PayPal had established their name on the auction site as a reliable and secure way to transfer money. If you haven't heard of BillPoint recently, we don't blame you. Just under 2 years, the purchase of BillPoint was seen by analysts as a mistake on eBay's part and would soon be pushed aside. As successful as PayPal seemed at this point, things were a bit shaky internally. While they had a majority market share in person-to-person money transfers, they were spending so much money to get there that it was uncertain how long they could sustain themselves, but they knew it wasn't for long. At a point, they were spending thousands of dollars each day on marketing, referrals, and services. On the other hand, X.com had quite a bit in the bank. So, in the March of 2000, X.com and Confinity decided to join forces. Peter Thiel was made the senior VP of finances in the new company, while Elon Musk, the majority shareholder, was chairman. Intuit CEO Bill Harris was brought in to be the CEO of PayPal due to his experience and fame in the industry. It was an open secret that the members on Confinity weren't too happy with Peter Thiel having to step down from his role and make way for Musk. In his highly revered book 0 to 1, Peter Thiel talks about the fierce animosity between the startups before the merger. According to Julie Anderson, after the merger, everyone tried to play nicely together at first, but, as has been widely chronicled from various perspectives, it took just a few months before the differences in opinion turned ugly. While the new company retained the PayPal branding, the initial plan was to convert all existing PayPal users to X.com bank account holders and charge people a fee for every transaction. Peter Thiel disagreed with Bill Harris from the start and said this was against PayPal's vision. Harris's plan to convert PayPal's users to bank account holders never did take off, and after a few months saw almost no progress. But by this point, the company was losing a lot of money, and employees and investors were dissatisfied with the direction the company was going in. After more disagreements with Harris, Peter Thiel left the company. However, after hearing the complaints from all corners, Musk decided to step in and called an emergency meeting to terminate Harris's position and named himself as CEO, and brought back Thiel as the chairman. At this point, X.com needed to steer ship quickly. By June 2000, they had a burn rate of around $10 million a month, and it was only going up. Other problems started to phase X.com too. Their platform, especially the new one merged with PayPal, was not designed for the rapid growth they were seeing and needed to be rebuilt from scratch. Moreover, with the rise of online payments around this time, so rose the number of scams trying to take advantage of these new platforms, and PayPal was finding it tough to fight them. Musk had to face all these issues, along with turmoil internally. His plan to completely replace the PayPal branding with X.com's was not being taken well by the members of the PayPal team. It's believed one of the main reasons for this was the fact that Musk had paid north of $1 million for the X.com branding. When he gave the instruction to wipe the PayPal branding from the website, it left many of the employees upset. It so happened that this instruction to phase out PayPal was given right before Musk left on a 2-week vacation to Australia. With Musk out of the office, major executives like David Sacks refused to change the branding and threatened to quit unless Musk was removed from his position as CEO. Before Musk could be reached to be updated about these new developments, the board took a call to remove him as CEO. Despite losing his job, Musk still had a lot riding on PayPal. He was still a majority shareholder. Immediately after he heard the decision the board had taken, he spoke to Peter Thiel to be assured that PayPal's urgent tasks would be completed soon and the company would be in good hands. In under 2 years, PayPal went from losing money to being profitable and raising over $60 million by going public. At this point, over 75% of all transactions on eBay accepted PayPal. So instead of fighting a losing battle, eBay offered to buy PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion. A price they couldn't refuse. This single purchase by eBay created many billionaires. Musk earned the biggest slice, $180 million, which he used to create Tesla and SpaceX for starters. Peter Thiel took the money to found Clarium, a venture capital firm that was one of the early investors in Facebook. Reid Hoffman, the executive VP of PayPal, co-founded LinkedIn. PayPal employees Jeremy Stoppelman and Russell Simmons went on to start the crowdsourced review site Yelp. 3 former PayPal employees, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, went on to start YouTube, a site that needs no introduction, especially if you're watching this video. With talent like this, you can see why PayPal rose to the levels of success it did. Though Musk admits he was hurt by the coup, he managed to keep his feelings bottled up. "I buried the hatchet," he says. "Life is too short for long-term grudges." Of course, it's also true that Levchin and Thiel went on to take PayPal public and make him even richer. But what Musk hasn't gotten over is the fact that the company never became more than a glorified feature. And he still believes that PayPal has the potential to become the world's largest consumer financial services company. It has 120 million customers, and there's a high trust factor, says Musk. There's a lot of unlevered value there. Peter Thiel too seems to have let all water under the bridge, praising Musk in an interview saying, "Elon is super impressive because he's done something outside of the IT space. I also think it's harder to do things in the world of atoms." Despite the rocky beginnings and almost cinema-esque adventures of the company, PayPal is here to stay. Today, it handles millions of transactions each day and is accepted on sites all over the internet due to its ease of access and security.